Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here at Resolution Retro, the introduction of the history block. We'll get more into that in a moment. I am your host, the ruler of all hosts, your Twitch champion, the only champion you will be talking about post-Battle Royale this Sunday, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, the historian, Tori. How are you doing?
I'm okay, bro. I don't know what's going on with these stupid internet, but I'm here.
We are here tonight to talk about...
Can you hear me though, bro?
Yeah, we are here to talk about WCW, ECW, and WWF Raw. Yay!
Yay, WWF, or as they like to call it, WW. Well, now they call it WWE.
So we're going to start with WCW, a hut.
All right, let's go extreme, my friend. So what we got now?
On January 16th, 1996, ECW, we saw Rey Mysterio Jr., who's still wrestling, and 9/11 versus the Eliminators.
You mean 911? But oh, Ray. That's when Rey Mysterio, as we all know, is one of the greatest luchadors of all time. There's no question about the Rey Mysterio, but this is during the time when Rey Mysterio just now getting his foot in the door in the United States. Because before he was in ECW, he wrestled exclusively in Mexico in the AAA promotion, and also in Japan, in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this is like Rey Mysterio's kind of like foot in the door, if you will. And his tag team partner being 911, which was at the time the bodyguard of Paul Heyman, or Paulie Dangerously, taking on the Eliminators, which is Perry Saturn and Cronus. And let me explain to people about the Eliminators. One of the greatest tag teams in ECW, but also a former IWGP Tag Team Champion in Japan. In fact, that tag team, it could have been one of the greatest tag teams of all time, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But in this match, you got Perry Saturn, John Cronus, Rey Mysterio, all great wrestlers, and 911, he's just a big guy. So if I'm a betting man, I think the Eliminators won because they just such a tag team proficiency.
Nope.
Am I wrong, bro?
The winners here are Rey Mysterio and 9/11.
Or 911. I'm surprised. I thought the Eliminators usually win those type of matches. But I guess I was wrong for a few times. But hey.
Then we saw Bubba Ray Dudley versus Jimmy Del Rey.
Bubba Ray Dudley. Bully Ray. That's when Bubba Ray was stuttering, right?
Yes.
And he used the move called the Bubba Bomb, which is basically a power bomb. But hey.
Bubba Ray Dudley. It was Bubba Ray Dudley. Jimmy Del Rey.
And he going up against a jobber. And he went up against a jobber, right? So I'm thinking Bubba won.
Yep. Then we saw Two Cold Scorpio versus Mikey Whipwreck for the ECW television title.
Woo, man. Two Cold Scorpio started his career in WCW, by the way, in case anybody want to go back to history. Two Cold Scorpio was Ron Simmons' mystery tag team partner back in the old WCW.
Back in '93.
Look it up. Back in 1993. And then he went on to Eastern Championship Wrestling in 1994-5. And, of course, in 96, he was in Extreme Championship Wrestling. And he's taking on who?
Mikey Whipwreck.
Mikey. What can I say about Whipwreck? Here's a guy that started at 18 years old. He's a he's a Grand Slam champion in ECW. Former ECW champion, former ECW tag team champion with bang bang, got this jacked.
Hey, speaking of which, during this time there's no former. He and Cactus Jack are the current ECW tag champions.
And he also the television champion. And if I'm a betting man, I think Mikey Rip. I think either Two Skull Scorpio won this match using the Scorpio Splash, or somehow Mikey Whipwreck put it off. It's got to be one of the two because I think these two put on a great match.
Who do you think won?
I'm going with Two Cold Scorpio.
You are correct, sir. Two Cold Scorpio won to become the new ECW television champion.
And yeah, we're gonna have to touch on him later, man, because Two Cold Scorpio is one of the most underrated high flyers in this business.
Ironically, I actually do have him on my list of people to cover. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to go over from ECW to Monday Night Raw.
Here we go.
We saw... this was the 1990 or January 15th, 1996 edition of Raw. Coming from you live from the Carpenter Center in Newark, Delaware.
Newark, Delaware. Okay. Well, what we got this? What we have this week, man? What we have on the card this week on Raw?
Well, we're gonna start with the segments. We saw Todd Petergill announcing that the price of the Royal Rumble here will be a free-for-all match, where the winner would earn a number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble match.
Wow. And by the way, his name was Todd Pettengill. I know it sounds crazy, but Pettengill, that was his last name.
That's how it's spelled on here. I apologize for that.
Don't worry, that's what I'm here for, bro. It's Pettengill. It's crazy.
And then we saw a in-ring interview with Goldust conducted by Vincent Kenny McMahon. Yeah, before the Ass Club. Yeah.
Oh, Vince McMahon. Oh, Vince McMahon and Dustin Rhodes, or Goldust, or whatever you want to call himself at the time.
Then we saw Goldust. We closed the segment where Goldust and Razor Ramon were in the backstage area, eventually brawling into the outside into the snow before Goldust was able to escape by driving off in a car, because in the Attitude Era, that's what people do. They drive off in cars.
Oh yeah, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Razor
Hey yo.
Ramon. Hey yo. Hey yo.
Taking on Goldust in the snow. That was hilarious right there.
Well, he was
that Attitude Era, that's all they do. They'll fight in the snow. They'll fight in cars. They'll fight anywhere. What else we got, bro? That was funny, by the way.
Alright, I was just checking something real quick historically. Alright, the next match was the main card. We saw Owen Hart with good old Jim Cornette versus Marty Jannetty.
Oh, man. Oh, well, Marty Jannetty,
Still can't walk.
former members of the Rockers, taking on one of the Hearts, Owen Hart. And I got him, and that's when Marty Jannetty started to become a jobber.
He was already a jobber. Hell, you talking about?
I know, right? But I'm just saying that when he became a jobber, that actually won the Intercontinental title before losing it. So anyway, I'm thinking if I'm not mistaken, Owen Hart won
Correct.
because of Jim Cornette.
No, he just won to being a badass.
Of course.
He was the top guy at this point. Next match, we saw two wrestlers who would go on to be top-level debut. This is a double debut. We saw the debut of Matt Hardy and the Ringmaster.
Stone Cold Steve, the Ringmaster Steve Austin
With Ted DiBiase.
versus Matt Hardy in a one-on-one match where the Ringmaster Steve Austin won.
You are correct, sir.
And that's when Matt and Jeff Hardy started out as jobbers.
Yep. Trying to fucking cut off, you piece of shit. Sorry,
Don't you hate that?
yeah, Facebook's trying to cut us off.
And I'm sure that people are listening to us talk right now.
Alright, it's because Emai's calling.
Oh, okay. You're welcome to join, though. I mean,
He's not a big history guy like you, Tori.
that's
Alright.
true.
Alright. So
Well, maybe you'll learn something better.
the next match was the tag team champions. This was a WWF tag team title match. The Smoking Guns versus the Spiders, Spider 1 and 2, aka Mosh and Thrasher. This is their debut.
So, you mean to tell me the Headbangers, who started out in one of those little territory days before coming to the WWF, I'm talking about Smoky Mountain Wrestling specifically, were the Spiders
Yep.
taking on the Smoking Gun.
Billy and Bart Gunn.
At the time, the Smoking Gun, who most likely won that match.
They did.
Of course, the Smoking Gun won that match. That was easy. That was just too easy.
Now there's the main event, which would become a feud of the year later. Isaac Yankem, DDS, taking on The Undertaker, with Paul Heyman. Paul Bearer.
Rest in peace to Paul Bearer.
Paul Moody.
Isaac Yankem, who we all know is, we all know who Isaac Yankem is. We all know what he's doing currently right now. But I digress.
Hi, James.
Taking on the Phenom, The Undertaker, with the late Paul Bearer in the main event. And he was a great match between these two big men. And I'm pretty sure, unless I'm wrong here, The Undertaker beat the so-called doctor.
Hi, Tori.
Hello.
No, I'm being a smartass.
I'm just saying The Undertaker beat the so-called doctor.
I don't think Steve Williams was here.
I'm talking about Isaac Yankem, man, not Dr. Dale Steve Williams.
Oh, we do have something we need to talk about. Else we need to talk about on the show today. I missed this. Okay, so who do you think won between My Undertaker and and Isaac Yankem, DDS?
I just said The Undertaker.
Well, I can tell you this, Isaac Yankum's gimmick will rest in peace.
Of course. I mean, Isaac Yankum, a.k.a. you know who, a.k.a. who's now in a government position right now. Like I said, government position, but we'll talk about that eventually.
You are correct, Tori.
Okay. The Undertaker destroyed this so-called Dr. DDS, Isaac Yankum, the self-proclaimed dentist. I gotta hand it to the WWF at the time. They'll come up with any damn thing at this moment. They'll come up with a trash man. They'll come up with a dentist. They'll come up with anything. And,
yep.
And two guys that dressed as spiders. Welcome to the world of the World Wrestling Federation.
Now, are you ready?
Where anything
that's wrestling. Well, that's the Attitude Era, my friend. But are you ready to hit the other side of the Attitude Era? WCW.
Oh yeah, WCW, where the big boys play. I'm not going there, but
they didn't say that yet. This is not a saying yet. All right. So here's what we got from WCW. No dark matches.
Thank the Lord. Woo.
And this event came from Miami, Florida. Florida. Doesn't say from where. Oh, the Knight Center in Miami, Florida. The first match was... Ooh, yeah! Macho Madness versus the Lex Express, Lex Luger.
Well, that's a hell of a start.
Well, it's a big slow.
Okay, yeah, that's a huge start. You got the Macho Man. Oh yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah. That Macho Man Randy Savage. Taking on the total package. Les Luger. The total package. The Les Express.
The total retirement package, Lex Luger.
Thank you very much, my friend. Ooh, this is hard to call because during that time, both these guys are great. During that time, both these guys were championship caliber world championship at the championship level. Ooh, it's hard to call between those two guys.
And I'm not gonna lie, man. Judging these three shows this week is gonna be a little harder because they're good. But
oh yes, definitely.
But I'm gonna make some points as we go on because I'm gonna start making the point where WCW put on the weaker show this week.
Well, let me see. Between the Macho Man and Luger, this is hard to call because during that time, those two guys were pretty much number one or number two contender for the WCW championship. Along with Sting, another guy that was contending for the championship at the time.
Oh no, he wasn't contending for the championship at the time. He was United States champion. In fact, on this show, he's contending for the world title.
Wow. Like I said. But between Luger and Savage, oh boy. This, like I said, this is hard to call, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Savage over Luger.
Wrong. Savage won or Luger won. 5 minutes and 10 seconds. The second match on this card was the Public Enemy, Rocco,
Johnny Grunge, former ECW Tag Team Champion.
versus the American males, Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Scott Riggs.
That was before he became Buck Bagwell and Scotty Riggs. That was before Scotty Riggs became one of the Ravens flock members. So.
Yeah, this was Scott Riggs, not Scotty Riggs.
So we got Marcus Bagwell, Scott Riggs taking on, like I said, the Public Enemy, who, if you look at their history, former ECW Tag Team Champion and former WCW Tag Team Champion, as a matter of fact.
Not at this time.
Not at this time, but the thing about this match is, if I know Public Enemy, they probably somehow, some way won this match because they how great of a tag team they were back in the day.
In 5 minutes and 28 seconds, you were correct. And the next match was the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. This is the third match. This was a 12-minute match between Sting and the champion, the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair.
Man. Sting versus Ric Flair. How many times over the years those two guys had gone at it? And how many times has Sting and Ric Flair go back and forth winning the championship off of each other? Think about this, man.
But the thing is,
Sting and Flair was the best rivalry during that time.
But the thing is, it duly noted, Sting can't really put a win over on Ric Flair on Nitro.
So that means that Ric Flair won against Sting.
But that wasn't the main event. The World Heavyweight title wasn't even the main event.
Now,
and this is where
really?
This is, I mean, you know what happened in WCW or WWE or Raw and ECW. Now here's what we got for the main event. Ming with the Taskmaster versus Hulk Hogan.
You mean to tell me they going back to the old WWF days when Haku was taking on Hogan? Really?
Yeah.
Haku, a.k.a. Ming, taking on Hulk Hogan. How many times those two had a match in WWF?
And it was a 4 minute and 41 second. It was the shortest match on the card. Now, mind you...
It need to take a while again.
Mind you, this
Hogan won that match.
Yes, and mind you, this was a decent card. But it's kind of like WWE's pay-per-views now, where if you just stop watching before the Brock Lesnar-Roman Reigns match, it's a great pay-per-view.
Right. You know, look, those matches that you just mentioned, you got Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Luger. That should be on the pay-per-view. You got, obviously, Sting versus Flair. That's a pay-per-view match. Then you got Hogan versus Haku.
In the main event.
Another pay-per-view type match.
No, this is a match. This is just a repetitive feud that they keep going into. This was the downfall of. To me, that's where the card went down. Your world title's not in your main event.
Usually, and this is. I'm gonna give you my point, and I don't know if you're gonna agree with me or disagree with me on this one. But usually, when you have a card, the heavyweight title should be the main event automatically.
Yeah.
If not, if that's not the case, it could be the United States Championship or the Women's Championship or any other championship.
They didn't have a Women's Championship back then.
The World Heavyweight Championship is not on the card. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, but the world title was on the card, and Hulk Hogan and Ming main evented over the world title.
What they should have done, this is where it gets me. Okay, if you're going to have Hogan versus Ming on the card, put Hogan and Ming before the world title match.
Yeah.
Not after.
That would have been a quick match.
That would have been a better card.
Because you'd have had a 12-minute classic between Sting and Ric Flair as your main event. Solid card.
Exactly.
Pay-per-view quality. And WWE could match that. I don't know you.
That's true. WWE could have matched that easily. Let's say who was the champion at the time in '96? Bret the Hitman Hart, maybe Shawn Michaels, maybe Diesel. Who knows who was the champion at the time in '96? I know it's one of those three guys. It has to be one of those three guys that were champion in '96. Either Shawn Michaels, Diesel, or Bret Hart.
It was Diesel.
WWF champion at the time.
It was Diesel, and we're going to talk about it. But before we get into that, Tori, let's talk about the best show of the week, because to be honest, all three of these were solid shows.
Yeah, all three of them were pretty good.
But
WCW dropped the ball. I'm gonna explain something to you. This is me. All three have some very good cards. I mean, you have Rey Mysterio in ECW. You had the Ringmaster, a.k.a. Austin, in WWE.
And Owen Hart and The Undertaker.
Had a main event, and you also had The Undertaker also on the card. And plus, in WCW, you had a main event. You had Sting versus Ric Flair. That should have been a main event.
And I think that's where WCW was the down of the week, because Hogan versus Ming was the main event, and that shouldn't have been their main event. That should have been their
co-main event.
That should have been their sub-main event. You don't have the world title go under that kind of match. I mean, you had 3 matches on the card that were great, and that's your ending. If you left that match off and just had 3 solid matches like that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. There was no dark matches, which was good.
No, not.
But you had, and you can't use dark matches in determining who had the better television product. To be honest, WCW in the card was good. Don't get me wrong, the card was good. It was really good.
That's true.
But the main event is just I'd rather watch fucking Isaac Yankem DDS versus The Undertaker, or I'd rather watch Mikey Whipwreck versus Too Cold Scorpio.
See, here's my point. You're right. Here's my point. WCW dropped the ball when they put Hogan versus Ming over Sting versus Flair.
Mm-hmm. So are you?
That was the. And here's what I agree with you. That was my downfall. I mean, other than that, all three had the best card. So I'm gonna have to put WCW as the worst of the 3, even though they were all great.
But here's the thing.
Because of the fact.
Yeah, and now we've eliminated one. Now we figure out who's number 1. WCW down because of the Hogan Ming, and it's not because it's Hulk Hogan or we hate Hogan. It's because he should.
No.
That was kind of an obvious match versus having a television title match or an Undertaker Isaac Yankem match. Now, granted, you had Ringmaster and you had Luger versus Macho Man. Okay, wrong.
Hall of Famers.
You had Owen Hart.
Hall of Famers.
Versus.
You got 2 Hall of Famers in Luger and Savage going at it. That's the first match.
We're taking that off. You got Owen Hart versus Marty Jannetty, and then you have a tag match. You have, granted, we're going to go with this. You have
had 911 and Mysterio.
That is very true. The finger poke of doom was the worst thing ever. But here's my thing. You had Rey Mysterio and 9/11 versus the Eliminators. And then you had Owen Hart versus Marty Jannetty. Then you had Bubba Ray Dudley taking on Jimmy Del Rey. You had Ringmaster versus Matt Hardy. Yeah. You had Ringmaster versus Matt Hardy, which were both debuting at the time. Young
right.
Matt Hardy, man. And then you had Undertaker versus Isaac Yankem DDS, and then you had the television title, Mikey Whipwreck versus versus Too Cold Scorpio.
Too Cold Scorpio.
And you also had
you know what?
the Headbangers taking on the Smoking Guns for the tag titles. So you saw a title match on each show, and WWF didn't need a title match. WWF also had production value, but we're leaving that off. We're just counting the card.
Man, I'm going to have to go with WWF has the better card. Don't get me wrong. ECW put on some great matches with Mysterio and 911 taking on the Eliminators. And then you also had a very great match between Rip and Too Cold Scorpio for the ECW Television Championship.
Yeah, Hardcore TV. We saw a title change, but you have the 3 matches versus the 4. And you had more technical wrestling on WWF Raw, but you had better match quality on ECW. But you had good cards on both shows. But yeah, they both had a jobber match, but one was for the titles.
That's true.
Yeah, ECW really wasn't available to everybody, and it sucks, but that's why we're comparing them. We're seeing who put on the better product. And to be honest, it's hard to deny WWF with their production value at the time was better.
Yeah. So you going with WWF?
Yeah, ECW had a great show. It did. WCW was the weakest link. ECW was a very close second, but WWF had production value and had more recognizable matches at the time. We saw the debut of Matt Hardy and the Ringmaster Stone Cold Steve Austin. Owen Hart, Marty Jannetty, Undertaker, Isaac Yankem, which Razor Ramon and Goldust, I don't even know why that's a feud. But yeah, but there is something that we get to talk about that's very fun. After that, we have another pay-per-view on January 21st on a Sunday from Fresno, California in the Sealand Center, in the Selland Center Arena. Are you ready for this one?
I am ready.
In a match occurring, this is the Royal Rumble '96. In a match occurring for the Free for All pre-show, Duke the Dumpster Droese defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley. WWF President Gorilla Monsoon stepped in after Droese, I hope I'm saying that right, was pinned and reversed the referee's decision, disqualifying Helmsley for using brass knuckles to knock Droese out. As a result, Droese won the right to enter at number 30 in the Royal Rumble match, and Helmsley had to enter first.
Woohoo! Triple H. Somehow I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, you talking about at the time Triple H was just getting his foot in the door. A.K.A. Hunter Hearst Helmsley was just getting his foot in the door. So he was just doing everything he can to, get inside that Royal Rumble. But now that we know that Hunter is the first entrance in the Rumble, let's talk about the actual pay-per-view itself.
Yeah, because the first match on this card, and this is back in '96, which I wouldn't mind this today. I really wouldn't. the undercard in 1996 was the Royal Rumble match itself was the opening match. That is a huge gamble.
Okay. It is a huge gamble, and now we know that Hunter Hearst Helmsley was the first entrant. So let's talk about each entrant. So let's start out with number 1, which obviously is Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who at the time was just now getting his foot in the door.
I'm not going to go down the Royal Rumble. The winner gets a WWF World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 7, or 12, excuse me. This match was won by Shawn Michaels, eliminating Diesel.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, already a multiple time.
Now, you ready for the rest of the card? The Royal Rumble match went first. First, we saw Jeff Jarrett, that's JEFFJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, taking on Ahmed Johnson.
Woo! Jeff Jarrett versus Ahmed Johnson. I don't see Jeff Jarrett losing his debut.
This isn't his debut.
I don't see Jarrett losing his debut.
This isn't his debut.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about his debut Royal Rumble match. His debut at the Rumble.
He's not in the Rumble. This is just on the Royal Rumble card. Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble.
Oh, you had Jeff Jarrett taking on Ahmed Johnson?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going with Jarrett over Ahmed.
You're wrong. Ahmed Johnson defeated Jeff Jarrett by disqualification.
Damn.
The next one...
Jeff Jarrett disqualified himself to win. You mean, basically, Jeff Jarrett disqualified himself, right?
Yeah, he got disqualified for being Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, Ahmed Johnson could have been something, man.
Yeah, he could have been.
He said that, and I don't want to botch your name, so that's why I'm not saying it. I don't want to botch it. I'm really sucking with names today. But they said he had big star. He could have been a big star and had attitude, but his inconsistency with a microphone was what held it back. And back in these days, that was a big problem for most people.
Yeah, they're not very good on promo skills.
But this card only had like 6 matches on it. And we're on match number 3.
Yep.
The tag team titles, the Bella Donnas, the Body Donnas, Skip and Zip, with Sonny, versus the Smoking Guns for the WWF Tag Team Championships.
Oh my God.
Marlon. Okay.
The Body Donnas versus the Smoking Guns. I'm thinking that the Smoking Guns.
I'm just sucking with names today, man. So I didn't want to botch.
I'm thinking that Bart and Billy retained the title over the Body Donnas.
You're correct. They did. Next, we saw the Intercontinental title match. Goldust faced as the challenger, facing the champion, Razor Ramon, and Razor Ramon stood tall on Raw.
Oh, Goldust. I think this is a time when Goldust had his first title reign when he beat Razor Ramon for that title at the Rumble.
Oh, yo.
Am I wrong here?
You are not wrong. I'm not going to do that.
Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. I'm just looking at the comments on our... Oh, nobody said anything yet.
Marlon has. Okay, so, yeah, Goldust won the Intercontinental title here. I think this is when Razor Ramon and Diesel were on their way out. Then we had the main event. The Undertaker versus Bret the Hitman Hart for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Woof! And Facebook
it's
just
really hard to call because Undertaker was just now getting his back in the title ring, and I believe, and then you got the Hitman, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
My favorite line is, if you put an S on the front of Hitman, that's Stone Cold's opinion of Bret Hart.
That was a great moment by Austin, by the way. But anyway,
I can't find a bad.
This is hard to call.
I can't find a bad Stone Cold moment.
This is hard to call because both these guys were pretty much at the peak of their career. Were at pretty much
top tier.
And I'm going with, if I'm wrong here, say I'm wrong, but I'm definitely going with The Undertaker.
The Undertaker did win this match, but he didn't win the title. He won by disqualification.
Wow.
As you know, Bret
title.
the Hitman with an S on the front of that, won the match. Or retained the title, but lost the match.
I mean, Bret the Hitman Hart was at the time playing dirty.
You are correct. Diesel did cost Undertaker the match.
Of course.
Now,
I say that.
Now, let's go down the Royal Rumble match, okay?
Okay.
That's something that we can do.
Let's go down the card. I mean, so far, you got Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that was
winning the Rumble.
Marlon said that WrestleMania 12 was Diesel's last WWF match before the WWF stars of the 80s and 90s, old school wrestling, WWE, WCW figures and games. WCW. Okay, this is the entries. Hunter Hearst Helmsley came in at number 1.
That was obvious.
Henry Godwin came in. Nobody's eliminated. Number 3 is Bob Backlund.
A Hall of Famer, a two-time WWE champion, or WWF champion. One of the great. Who's number 4?
Nobody interfered. Number 4 was Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh, boy. The King. What can you say about him that hasn't already been said about Jerry the King? A legend. I mean, the guy is a former champion in other promotions, like the AWA and others, but he never won a WWF champion.
Yeah, and then number 5 was Bob Holly, a.k.a. Hardcore Holly.
Oh, man. A future Hall of Fame in my book.
And remember, nobody has been eliminated yet. This is number 5. Number 6, we saw King Mabel come in.
Viscera, Mabel, King Mabel, Big Daddy V, Big Daddy Voodoo in Japan.
Big Daddy Botch.
That's his name. Big Daddy Botch.
And still, there's 6 people in the ring. Number 7 comes out. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh my God, that man, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jerry the King Lawler's loved no matter where you go, man. I loved him when he was in the ring.
And you talking about Jake Roberts, a man that, well,
Big Daddy Botch. The person
we're gonna talk about him too,
the person that obviously Nia Jax emulates because she's stiff just like he was. Yeah. I mean, but let's keep it rolling. Then at number 8 we saw Dory Funk Jr. You think about all the men in that ring right now. Triple H, Henry Godwinn, Bob Backlund, Jerry Lawler, Hardcore Holly, King Mabel, Jake the Snake Roberts, and now Dory Funk Jr. joins the fray.
From the Double Cross Ranch in from the Double Cross Ranch in Texas, huh?
Yep.
Old Dory, brother of Terry Funk, hardcore legend.
Yep.
And both Hall of Famers. I'm talking about the Funk brothers. Jake the Snake Roberts is a Hall of Famer. Jerry the King Lawler's a Hall of Famer. We know Triple H is going to be a future Hall of Famer. That's obvious. Let's go with who else on that list?
Yokozuna then comes out at number 9.
Well, a member of the same family as The Rock and the Usos, brother of Rikishi, and also a WWE Hall of Famer.
Now, before we get to number 10, this is where they started clearing the ring out. Yeah, Dory was a NWA World Heavyweight Champion. That is very true. But Yokozuna comes out, and this is where they clean the ring out. Yokozuna eliminates Bob Backlund.
A two-time WWE champion.
Jake
And
Roberts
one of the
eliminates Henry Godwinn.
Henry Godwinn had a pretty decent career, but he has been long forgotten.
Give him your phone for now.
And that's a shame.
He hasn't fished really, but
Just put him in his chair.
You can see how much he ate and see if you
Just let him go back and eat, so you can go lie down. I'll be in shortly. We're on the last part.
go, Marcus. You can go back to sit back in your chair.
And then number 3, King Mabel was taken out by the behemoth Yokozuna.
Well, yeah, I mean, who else going to take him out?
So Bob Backlund.
I mean, who else going to take out King Mabel?
Bob Backlund, Henry Godwinn, and King Mabel were taken out. We're down to 6 now again. Then we see the 1, 2, 3 kid come out.
Who later on became X-Pop, 6-Pop,
6, Sean Waltman.
Sean Waltman, a multiple-time champion in WCW and WWE, so yeah. He's pretty good. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame if Triple H has something to say about it.
Nobody was eliminated at this point.
Okay.
Then we saw Takao Omori come out.
Oh, Lord, another jobber.
No, buddy. No. Takao Omori was an All Japan Pro Wrestling Triple Crown Heavyweight Champion, World Tag Team Champion, and he's worked with New Japan Pro Wrestling Noah, and Pro Wrestling 01.
I'm talking about in WWF time, he's a jobber. But in Japan, he's a legend.
And then after him, we saw the entrance of Savio Vega.
I like Savio Vega. He's pretty damn good. He had, before Savio Vega was in WWF, he was also in Japan.
I'm not going to force him back in the seat.
Okay, I'll hang on. Remember that?
Okie dokie, bro. For those of you who want to know, Savio Vega was great in Japan, and also he was great in WWE. He was pretty good. And then you talk about the 1, 2, 3 kid, aka Sean Waltman, 1, 2, 3 kid, aka X-Pop, 6-Pop, 6. That man has so many freaking names, it's hard to keep up. I'm just waiting on Donovan, but if there's any question you'd like to ask me, feel free to ask. I'm just here to enjoy the ride with everybody.
All right, Tori.
All right, bro. I'm just been. I was just trying to. I've been waiting on you, bro.
Omega's probably going to AEW. Let me get back to this. Jake the Snake and Hunter Hearst got rid of Takao Omori. And that's when we see Savio Vega come out. Now, before the next entry, Savio Vega takes out Dory Funk Jr.
Well, we know Dory Funk Jr. is a legend. No said about him. He was the more technical of the Funk brothers.
Then we saw Big Van Vader come out.
Nothing needs to be said that hasn't already been said about Vader. I mean, here's a guy, a former IWGP champion in Japan, former WCW champion multiple times there. He pretty much dominated Japan and WCW, but then he entered the WWE, and well, what can I say?
They ruined him. But here's the thing. Vader came in, and during his 3 minutes, he was managed to take out Jake the Snake. So, let's reiterate who's left. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Jerry the King Lawler, Bob Holly, Yokozuna, 1-2-3 Kid, Savio Vega, and Big Van Vader.
Those are big names right there. Big names.
And here's where the Royal Rumble starts being huge. Yes, he really was a big loss last year, and I hate it. Even Samoa Joe showed the respect. He has said it's always Vader time in heaven. Next we had Doug Gilbert come out. Vader quickly took care of him. Then we saw Squat Teamer number 1. Then we saw number 15, Squat Teamer number 1. Vader took care of him. Number 16, Squat Teamer number 2. Yokozuna took care of him. I'm just skipping over these. Yeah, no, I'm just ignoring this. And then, while this was going on, we're at number 16 before number 17 comes out. We see Squat Teamer number 2 at 16 come out and get eliminated by Yokozuna. Now, during this exchange, where's it at? This is where the match kind of gets interesting, because Savio Vega is taken out by Big Van Vader.
Very interesting.
So number 17 is Owen Hart. So right now, this is where the match stands. Triple H, Jerry the King Lawler, Bob Holly, the 1-2-3 Kid, Yokozuna, and Big Van Vader. That's what Owen Hart's walking into.
That's a man.
Nobody gets eliminated. And nobody gets eliminated while Owen Hart's in the ring. So number 18, we see the winner. We know he won the match. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. While Shawn Michaels is in the ring, he manages to take out Yokozuna, Vader,
That's a big.
and the 1-2-3 Kid. You heard that, right? Yokozuna, Vader, and the 1-2-3 Kid.
So he took out his best friend and the 1-2-3 Kid, and he took out two big giants in Vader and Yokozuna. That's
Yeah.
huge.
So at this point, we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who came in at number 1. Number 4, Jerry the King Lawler. Number 5, Bob Holly. Number 17, Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels. So we have Bob Holly, Triple H, Jerry Lawler, Owen Hart, and Shawn Michaels. The next, number 19, comes out Hakushi.
I remember Hakushi. He was dominant in Japan, but he was a jobber in WWE.
Yeah, and he looks ridiculous. He doesn't look... I mean, if you don't know, he's Jinsei Shinzaki.
In ECW. Yeah, he was Shinzaki in ECW. Yep, he was Shinzaki in ECW.
But here's the thing. After Hakushi came out, about 1 minute and about a little over about 2 minutes in, Shawn Michaels took out Hakushi.
Of course,
As
that
you
was
can,
like easy.
Shawn Michaels, as you can tell, is on fire right now. Now, Hakushi got taken out at this point, and there's nobody else. Number 20, we're getting down to those spots, comes out the legendary Tatanka.
The Native American.
Yep.
Who could have been a champion already during that time. Before that time.
Yeah, he was. Tatanka comes in. Nobody gets eliminated while Tatanka's in there. Then we see number 21, Aldo Montoya.
Aldo Montoya. Oh, I remember him.
Okay, and this is what happens while this is going on. Aldo Montoya gets taken out by Tatanka.
Damn.
Jerry the King Lawler gets eliminated by Shawn Michaels. As you can tell, Shawn Michaels is dominating. He finally gets rid of the King. Just incredible. So we currently still have number 1, Triple H. Number 5, Bob Holly.
Mark or Holly, or whatever you want to call him.
Number 17, Owen Hart. Number 18, Shawn Michaels. And number 20, Tatanka.
Those are 5 big names.
Now, at number 22, we get Diesel.
Kevin Nash. Big sexy Kevin Nash.
Yeah, and while he's in the ring, now we see Bob Holly get thrown... No, wait, that's not true. That's not true. Nobody gets eliminated here. Diesel's in there. Still going. Number 23, we get... What is that? Karna? Karna. And 3 minutes go by, nobody gets eliminated. Number 24, we get the future legend, the Ringmaster.
Oh yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, Ringmaster Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Who at the time was on the tour list of the $1 Million Man in DiBiase.
Yeah, and the Ringmaster comes in his 3 minutes. This is what we get. Bob Holly gets tossed out. by the ringmaster. Then Hunter Hearst Helmsley gets tossed out by Diesel.
Damn. That's huge. Kevin Nash taking out Triple H.
So now we're...
Austin took out Holly.
Yeah, so now we're down. There is nobody who came in early still in there. We have Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels, Tatanka. Oh no, Diesel took out Tatanka. So we have Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Karna, and the Ringmaster. Then we see Barry Horowitz come in.
Oh Lord, the king of jobbers, Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, because during his stint, he only lasted a minute and 15 seconds. Owen Hart dumped him out.
Of course.
Shawn Michaels and Diesel teamed up to take out Owen Hart. And yeah, you're right, just incredible. The future Impact player was Aldo Montoya, which was a really stupid gimmick, and they really missed out on that. He was a future Hall of Jailer. Anyways,
Yes, and yes.
Owen Hart got taken out. Or no, Owen Hart got double teamed. So goodbye, Owen. So now we have Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Karna, the Ringmaster left.
Damn, Karna. Who? Oh yeah, I remember Karna. And then we got, I remember him. The Ringmaster, Steve Austin.
Karna, also known as the Godfather.
Another Hall of Famer. So basically, you got Hall of Famers in that ring.
Yep. So then at number 26, we see Fatu, aka Rikishi.
That's right. Damn, another Hall of Famer.
Here's the thing, though. There's only one elimination. Like I said, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Karna, the Ringmaster, and Fatu. The Ringmaster gets eliminated by Fatu.
Austin got
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Austin got eliminated by Rikishi, basically.
Yeah. He took him out, so we've got Shawn Michaels, Karna, and Fatu now. Or Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Karna, and Fatu. Next, we see Isaac Yankem, DDS, enter at number 27. And he takes out Fatu.
Well, it takes one big man to take out another big man. As the old cliche goes. I mean, you got some big guys. I mean, you got Kevin Nash, who's a big guy. At the time, they didn't have a whole lot of big, giant men.
And at number 28, we get Marty Jannetty. And the two of them take out Isaac Yankem, DDS.
Which two?
Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels?
Yes.
Oh, you mean the Rockers?
Yeah. So Karna,
They just put it like that.
Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Karna, and Marty Jannetty are still in. Number 29, we get the British Bulldog.
Navy Boy Smith, folks.
No eliminations happen. Then we get number 30, Duke Droese.
Duke the Dumpster Drosy. I got you, bro. The Dumpster. They just call him the Dumpster. For short.
And he gets taken out. He lasted about a minute and 10 seconds, and then he was tossed.
Damn, he was dumped. He was basically got dumped, literally.
And that was because Diesel and Karna teamed up. And then Shawn Michaels took out the British Bulldog. And then Shawn Michaels took out the British Bulldog took out Marty Jannetty, and that prompted HBK to take out the Bulldog.
Is it me, or did we have the Rockets reunion for a short minute?
We
in
did.
that match.
We did. That was the beautiful part. So this match came down to Kama, or Karna. It was Kama, excuse me, Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Diesel took out Kama, and then Shawn Michaels took out Diesel to win the 1996 Royal Rumble.
So it basically, he had 3 Hall of Famers, were the last 3 guys standing, and you had, and basically the Final 4 were the Rockers.
No, it was the British Bulldog. No, the final 4, which is a big moment in wrestling, was Kama, aka the Godfather, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, and British Bulldog. 4 Hall of Famers.
Who should be
All 4 Hall of Fame qualifiers. So what did you think of this pay-per-view?
So far, I say it's a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
That's good. That's great. Royal Rumble though. All right, so not to no sell this. We're moving on. Yeah, and it really was one of the greatest matches of all time. The Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12 was one of the greatest matches of all time, with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Now, Tori, we've covered the shows. This is usually where we would end it, but we have another segment we're going to be doing weekly. I've selected a random wrestler that Tori has no idea who it is. This is called History Block. I pick a random wrestler, and Tori's going to talk about them, which I've already picked 2, which after this I will announce the next week's. So I'm going to turn the floor to Tori, because tonight, for the first time ever, and to his surprise, he'll be talking about Nikita Koloff.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the History Block. And obviously, he picked one of the greatest United States champions of all time. Even though his career was short-lived, Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare, has some of the greatest rivalry in professional wrestling. So let's talk about this guy. He started out in 1985 under the tutelage of Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. His career only expanded from 1985 all the way up to 1993 or 4. And then that's pretty much it. Had a very short wrestling career. But during those short wrestling career, he had some of the greatest rivalry, from the Magnum TA all the way up to Sting, to Luger, mostly for the United States title. He even challenged the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, for the World Heavyweight title, which he never won. But I want to tell you something, my greatest Nikita Koloff moment, and Donovan, you can probably tell me your greatest Nikita Koloff moment. And if any of you who are listening right now, if you got your favorite moment of Nikita Koloff, we will talk about it. So, let me start with my favorite moment with the Russian Bear, or the Russian Nightmare. My fault. Rest in peace, by the way, to Ivan Koloff, who also passed away last year. My favorite moment from Nikita was when him and Magnum TA fought for the United States Heavyweight Championship back in 1986. When the Russian Nightmare challenged Magnum TA for the championship. And during that time, Magnum TA had to forfeit the championship, and Nikita Koloff, Nikita wanted the United States champion. So, during that time, the Magnum TA wanted his title back from Nikita Koloff, and man, it was a great fight. It was a great fight between those two guys. Two future Hall of Famers in my book. So during that time, Magnum TA never really got the United States title back from Nikita. Tell me your great moment of Nikita Koloff, if you have any, Donovan, because he had so many great matches between him and Magnum TA and him and Sting and others. I'm waiting on you, bro. And I'm gonna see what the comment says about Nikita Koloff, because he was a great wrestler, man, a former United States champion. That's the only title he won. I ain't never seen him win the other. Oh yeah, former television champion as well. But he was mostly a former United States championship, a former United States champion. And actually, he also won a tag team champion with his uncle, Ivan Koloff, and I think one half of the Demolition. I forgot I think it was Ass. It was Smash. It was Smash when he won. You back, bro?
Yeah, I told you the floor is yours. Why are you waiting on me?
I was talking about my favorite moment of Nikita Koloff. I was asking you what's your favorite Nikita Koloff moment.
His United States match with Magnum TA, one of my favorite top 5 wrestlers of all time.
Those two guys Magnum TA and Nikita Koloff had a great rivalry, but he also had a great rivalry with Sting as well.
Yeah.
And also Luger. Nikita Koloff, he was a very powerful wrestler, man. Teamed up with Ivan Koloff to face the Road Warriors. You remember that, Donovan?
Mm-hmm.
That was a great fight between those folks. He also teamed up with another guy. I think the other guy was part of the Demolition. This guy was, I think it was Ass or Smash. The guy who called himself the Repo Man. He also used to be tag team partner with him in the early.
Yeah, you're talking about Crush.
Well,
You're talking about Crush.
No, it was Smash.
Yeah.
It was Smash of Demolition. Before he went to WWE. But anyway, Nikita Koloff was a great wrestler, man. It's just too bad that this guy's career has cut short.
Yeah, and that's the fate of a lot of guys back in those days, of careers getting cut. But he left a mark, man. He was great. He paved the way for guys like Rusev.
I forgot who that other Russian dude that was in the WWE at the time, before Rusev.
I cannot read that to save my life. Barry Darsow?
Barry Darsow.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Barry Darsow. He was that guy. I gotta admit, we gotta talk about him sometime too. Barry Darsow, aka the Repo Man. He was one half of the Demolition tag team. He was with Nikita and Ivan Koloff. He was great.
Yeah, he's on my list.
He actually had a son that wrestled in TNA at one time.
Who's that?
Barry Darsow.
No, I'm talking about the son.
I forgot that dude's name, but he used to wrestle in TNA as one of the Aces and Eights, which is kind of weird.
Aces and 0.8s, because that's what they were pulling.
Yeah.
But Nikita is a legend, and I have a lot of respect for him. Tori's the one that introduced me to him, actually. So, is there anything else Is there anything else you got to say about him, or informative, or?
The only thing I can say about Nikita Koloff, the guy, he was a worker. He never, one thing I will say about this man, yes, he was very, very powerful. being close to that 300 pound, 270, 280, around that 300, close to that 300 pound mark. But for a man of his size and strength and power, he had a lot of speed and agility as well, bro. And like I said, he had one of the best clothes. I mean, and this is something that we're going to talk about one day. Who had some of the best? Who had the best
something I need to look up too.
Who had some of the best clothesline? You got.
Oh no, Tori, save that for the comments, man. We're gonna definitely talk about who had the best clothesline next week.
I mean, like I said,
next week. Next week
Russian sickle was nothing to be played with, bro.
Next week we're gonna talk about who had the best clothesline, the best lariat.
Definitely. You got the lariat versus the Russian sickle versus the Steiner line. That's right, the Steiner line.
Versus the clothesline from hell versus the Northern lariat.
Versus the versus the Northern lariat and the 7-star lariat as well. So we're going to talk about all that later, man. I mean, who had the best clothesline?
But let's go ahead and close this out, because next week on the history block, we're going to be talking about another legend, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
And boy, do I have some story about that guy. I mean, wow. And he's still wrestling today, isn't that ironic?
Exactly.
But anyway, we'll talk about that.
He's been around.
We'll talk about that.
He's been around since the early 70s, and he's still going 40 years later. But we'll talk about him next week. Right now, let's get into our final thoughts. I mean, Raw put on a good show during the 21st.
Okay, here's my final thoughts on this rainy day, because it's raining outside here. As you can hear, it's raining outside, so nothing I can do about that. But anyway, my final thoughts. For those of you who are a fan of wrestling, continue to support some professional wrestling, whether it's WWE,
Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA, MLW, Combat Zone Wrestling, PWG, Independence, NWA. Hey, I'm just covering all of them, man.
AWE as well, bro. When it starts.
Well, you already said that, so I didn't want to just.
But I just want everyone who are a true wrestling fan. It doesn't matter what it is. Just support professional wrestling as a whole. And also, tune in next week, as my co-host was just alluded, for another episode of
Retro.
Resolution Retro, where we cover ECW, WCW, and WWF. And also, as he just alluded, we're going to cover...
Yeah, go to a local show, too. Support your local shows. I do. I used to wrestle for one, so I supported it the highest caliber.
Please do. Please support your local wrestlers, man. And also, as I said, as he just alluded, next week, we're going to cover a legendary man who claims to be the active master of the figure four, Greg the Hammer Valentine. So, those are my final thoughts. Until then, I'll let my co-host finish his thoughts.
My final thoughts are is keep it smooth. Come on and check out Golden Report tomorrow. Got that special with Breon plus our Impact coverage. This Saturday the Saturday WVPW Supernova if you're interested. We have WVPW Battle Royale, which is our version of Royal Rumble. Me and Tori will be there. And also Strong Sheet as well. So, tune in for all the goodies we have. Other than that, I enjoyed doing this show with Tori. I hope Marlon enjoyed the good stuff we got to talk about. Hopefully we see you next week. Hopefully we get Jamie up in here too.
And one more thing I'd like to add before we go. If you know any wrestling fan, invite them over. We'd love to have them.
Yeah, we love wrestling fans. We love these conversations. We really, really do. And
yes, we do.
And to close it out, Tori, it's been a great show, but we have to say,
ta-ta for now.
have a good night, everybody. Special shout out to you, Marlon.